So, welcome everyone. We've got a pretty cool webinar here. We've got a bunch of really interesting presenters. I think actually when I looked at like the the lineup, I was like, wow, this is actually very interesting for me too. So, welcome everyone. I'm glad that you're here. We're going to be talking about profit today, and there's some really good topics that everyone has ready to go. So, um, I'm Mark Botha, founder of Scalability. I'm going to be going first, and I think why don't everyone just introduce yourselves, and we could go from there. I think Isabella's going to be joining soon, but Jay, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. It's Jay Lagarde, and I am the founder and CEO of Ecom Engine. We've been in the Amazon space, helping and serving sellers since a long time, but 2007. Um, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to talking today about how to protect and grow your profit on Amazon.
Okay,
Privileged
awesome.
to be here. Yep.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Chelsea, you're
Y-
next.
Yeah, I'm Chelsea Cohen. I started my selling journey in 2014. Founded a company called Stocked in 2018. It's an inventory management software for sellers. It was acquired in 2022 by Carbon 6. So now I run Stocked inside of Carbon 6, and I'm a community ambassador there as well.
Awesome. And then Danan.
Yeah, so my name's Danan Coleman. I've been selling on Amazon since 2010. I'm an active seller today in the supplement space. I've spent the last almost 7 years in Amazon SaaS and service companies as well. And the co-founder of Ecom Triage, and I'm going to talk about how to detect non-conforming or TOS non-compliant reviews and what you can do to get rid of them.
Okay, awesome. And Dan and I had a really awesome chat on his podcast last week, which was pretty good, pretty
Just
cool.
live, by the way. It's live.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I'm gonna get started, and then we have Isabella joining from Roots Momentum. I think she's just should be here shortly. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I'll share my screen, and I'll get started. Okay, so our goal today is profit mastery. Is really about how unlocking scalable growth and maximizing profit in your business. So today I'm going to be talking about profit over revenue, why preserving margin beats chasing sales. So I had this interesting kind of question I thought of the other day. So I actually put it on Instagram to kind of see what everyone's headspace was and how they're thinking about their business. And the question was, what would you rather focus on in your business? A, would it be increasing revenue, more sales, bigger top line growth, or increasing profit without doing more, better margins, more money in your pocket? So you can see it was 100% of people wanted to obviously keep more of their money. So the question is, which one are you? Are you choosing option A, scale revenue, work harder, and watch your margins shrink, or option B, work less, streamline your operations, and boost your profits? So my headspace is B, obviously more profit in your pocket. So the profit recovery I'm going to be sharing with you today is how Maria added $97,000 just in time for valuation, and see how an 18 cents cost per unit added up to big gains. So this is a kind of a before and after. Before profit, 484,000. After, 582,000, which was an increase of $97,000, which was a profit increase of over 20%. So the strategies we're going to be talking today is what we do for our private clients, but this is something that you can implement in your e-commerce business pretty easily. So after auditing over $198 million from our private clients, we discovered that an overwhelming amount of sellers are leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table, and not from their own errors. It's just when we get into this webinar, there's a lot that goes into profit. Obviously there's a lot that goes into driving revenue that we know, but there's also a lot that actually goes into keeping a lot of your money. So imagine where your business could be in the next 90 days if you had clearer insights, optimized margins, and extra cash to reinvest into your business. So when I think about it, if you think about it really, revenue doesn't buy you things. Only profit from your business does. Revenue, I always say, just basically builds yourself an overhead. It's important to, is to keep most of your money or to have a focused on profit, because that's what actually buys things. That's what you can reinvest into new employees, better tools and better systems in order to drive revenue and keep that profit in line. So a little bit, background about me. I'm the founder of Scalability. I've been in e-commerce for about 12 years, started my selling journey, I think, in 2012, 2013. And Scalability was really born from when I first sold my e-commerce business. Nothing really prepared me for the due diligence that was about to face. And I thought to myself, I really enjoy building e-commerce businesses and I really enjoy selling these businesses. But if I'm going to do it again, I need a way better process that wouldn't be so stressful. So if you have ever sold an e-commerce business, then you probably understand what I'm talking about with the due diligence. If you haven't, now's the time to listen and pay attention and probably do all the things that all these presenters are saying today, because it really makes a big difference. So Maria recovered 97,000 on her P&L just in time for that valuation. So we're going to see how an 18 cents unit difference added up to these big gains. So it's actually frightening. One of the things that I hear most of the time is from sellers is, my costs are close enough, or why does it matter if my costs are off just a little bit? And I have it written down here. I think Maria said to me, I think I have a pretty good handle on my costs. And anyway, you'll see, they clearly didn't. And now she's $341,000 richer from, managing the costs a little bit better. So the question is, if you walk past 18 cents on the floor, would you pick it up? Invariably, I'll probably say, I might not pick it up. But if I walk past that 18 cents 22,000 times, which adds up to about over $4,000, I'm probably more likely to pick that up. And that's what we at Scalability do, is we make sure that we're capturing all these variances that lead to these changes. So you can see here, 22,000 units were sold at an average cost of $339. Now that's what when we're looking at, the profitability tools, most profitability tools require us to update those unit costs manually as they change, which as a seller, I was a seller, I would probably say I would not always keep those up to date. And also they're relying on the seller to quote unquote magical math to be accurate on those SKUs. So what we do different is we're able to capture the variances here. And I think I can zoom in a little bit here. So we can see these changes over time. So, purchase order comes in, last receipt cost per unit comes in, and these are the changes that happened over 12 months. So as those changes happen, we can capture them. And the difference was, close to, $4,000, 74,000 before, $70,000 after. So here we can see on the P&L. So, the difference of the cost of goods sold dropped from, 625,000 to 548,000, which led to this net change difference, which increased the profit by, 20%. So, when we think about the profit, of $97,000, which is actually amazing, but when we think about when we're selling our business on the multiple of 3.5, in which case Maria got, it added an extra $341,000 from an average difference of 18 cents. So, these little changes can add up to these big numbers. So let's say your average orders are, 1,000 a month. If you are able to reduce your cost per unit through, accurate cost management, that's $1,800 a year. 2,500 orders, 4,500 a year, 5,000 orders, 9,000 a year, 10,000, 18,000 a year, 20,000, 36,000 per year. So, the numbers are there. So it's important that we take note and we are actually focused on the area that we have the most control. Because when I think about selling, let's use Amazon for an example, we think about a whole kind of the profit percentage. We're looking at from the supplier to the warehouse floor. We're looking at from the warehouse to the customer, and then we're looking at ad spend. And we look at those three areas, then we ask ourselves, where are the areas that we can make the most improvement? or the area that we have the most control. And really the area that we have the most control is from the supplier to the warehouse floor. We can still negotiate with our suppliers. We can get better terms. We can get better rates. We can negotiate some shipment. We can do that there. Logistics, we can make sure we're getting good rates from our freight forwarders. We can also make sure our tariffs are right. Sometimes those HS codes and those tariff rates can be slightly off. So that's another area that we need to focus on as well. But from the Amazon's fulfillment, we more than likely can't call up Amazon and negotiate better rates, and we certainly can't get better rates in sponsored ads. So the area that we have the most control on is from supplier to warehouse, and that's the area that we need to focus on, on revenue, on our profit recovery. So why does this matter? So I always think about e-commerce is our left brain and right brain activities, right? We got our left brain, which is really all about profit, because it's all the things that we don't want to do. It's all the non-exciting things that actually drive profit. And then we got our right brain, which is that sweet high revenue growth. It's really all the fun things. And when I first found this, I was like, wow, this is actually quite engaging, because a lot of the sellers is what we gravitate to the right side. We love building brands, sourcing new products, new marketing, designing new packaging, and customer engagement, and all the exciting things that happen with selling on Amazon. And all the left brain stuff is kind of the stuff that like sits in your desk in that little box, and you push to the side about monitoring costs and complex inventory management and dealing with cash flow and all those things about the supplier management and handling the reviews that kind of like sometimes shift to the wayside. So when we're looking at revenue and we're looking at profit, these are the two kind of hats that we need to wear. So most sellers are obviously obsessed with revenue, and of course I was too, but struggle with profits, because scaling sales don't always equal scaling profitability. So true success comes from optimizing profit, not only revenue. So the revenue trap and the common mistakes that occur are over-reliance on PPC and external traffic, ad spends obviously eat into your margins. You're paying for customers that that don't bring the profit. And then ignoring true landed costs, like we've seen. Many sellers just don't track real costs that lead to these hidden losses. And then chasing volume, not efficiency. So more sales equals more inventory, logistics, storage costs, and poor inventory turnover, and resulting in that cash flow crunch. So at Scalability, we kind of designed kind of a profit recovery framework, and there's really a lot that goes into it. A lot of this is profit recovery, and then a lot of this goes into if you're thinking about selling your business. There's a lot that has to happen. If you decide to sell your business in 1 or 2 years' time, there's things that you should be doing now to help the sale. If you're not planning on selling your business, then it's a different profit recovery framework that we can discuss. So it's not about chasing revenue. Profit growth is really what sustains and scales the business, and it's really the key to uncovering hidden products through these smart profit recovery strategies. So really now is the time to shift your mindset and strategy for kind of what I call real business sustainable growth. So simply put, instead of just chasing revenue, focus on maximizing net profit and implementing these kind of profit recovery, this framework. So key differences between revenue and profit is obviously focusing on sales growth versus profit growth. The primary KPI is revenue versus net profit. The risk level is obviously high versus low. Cash flow sometimes negative, where profit is obviously positive and sustainable, and long-term growth is unsustainable versus sustainable and scalable. And this is really the key here, is sustainable, profitable growth. So the things that could shift your mindset are that these are the things that you could actually do today, where you could audit your true profitability. So using tools like Scalability to track your real landed unit costs, cutting out wasteful expenses, looking at your ad spend, any software subscriptions or overhead that you might have. And this is a big one that I always talk to my clients about, is when last did you negotiate with your supplier and your logistics costs? Those are two very simple ones to go, you know what, I never have talked to my supplier about a better rate. So that's something that you could do today. And then, leveraging partners that align with your profit goals, and then, adopt smarter growth strategies. So, Scalability is built for profit. So our goal is always to recover 20% of that lost profit through our framework. So, landed cost calculations, know exactly what your landed unit costs are and exactly what it takes you to get those products. And that, again, improves cash flow, frees up capital for growth. So if I was to show you a proven way to increase your profits by 20% in the next 90 days, would that be interesting to you? So the next steps are you ready for more profit? So stop chasing revenue and start growing those profits. So what I've done is I've actually opened up for this call 10 exclusive strategy calls for serious sellers who are looking to shift from the revenue to the profit recovery framework and start maximizing their profits. So these calls actually typically cost $9.97 because my goal is by the time we're done calling is that you're going to make that money back through 1 to 2 actionable insights. So you're going to get this this presentation after this, so you can kind of read through this. But this is everything that we will kind of go through in the strategy call. So ultimately, what we're talking about is the cash machine, $1 in, $2 out. So every dollar you put in, you get $2 back. So imagine a cash machine where you put in 1 or 2 and you got that out. And I'm smiling now because the question is how often would you use it? And I would go, yes, I want to use it every day. So really you have 2 choices. So the choices that you have is, you do nothing from what you learned today. And at the end of the day, you will actually get nothing. Not the best choice because at the end of the day, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. So the other option is taking action and getting the results that you want. So the bad news is that I can't do this for everyone, even though I really want to. My team is only as big as it is, which means I can only open up 10 spots available that are today. And once those spots are gone, they're gone. So take action, looking for 20% more profit. Next step is to just go ahead, go to sellerview.com/book a call, or take a little shot here, and schedule some time to chat. So I'll just leave this up for a second. And we have Isabella here, who's actually going to be our next presenter. I'm going to stop sharing here, and then Isabella, do you want to just introduce yourself, and you could probably just kick off your presentation right away.
Hey guys, well, I'm probably too much self-confident that everybody knows who is Isabella Reitz. Long story short, selling on Amazon since 2015. Recently started doing also equine business, so launched. I got 11 horses for the past 3 months, and on top of e-commerce, we're also doing horse riding lessons, which is completely different from the e-commerce. And I know we all have blue background, but if I would not have a blue background, you would see a lot of talk right behind me. And if you will hear weird noises like horse neighing or something like this, I'm literally at the barn right now. Anyway, so I believe, and I genuinely believe, that we have to do business. We have to do 2 types of the businesses. One that is feeding us, and another one that is bringing us joy. So e-commerce is the business that bringing us money, that is bringing us revenue, bringing us profits. And equestrian business for me is a joy. So let's talk today how we can turn e-commerce business into something you would be happily doing in your life, enjoying it, because my personal opinion, Amazon and all e-commerce, it's not really joyful. You really have to work on numbers. You have to put a lot of effort. You have to go with a routine. And we're kind of forgetting that there is another world behind it. However, let's jump into the numbers that are making all this joy work. So,
Hey, I love your heading.
thank you. So, Amazon is complicated. Everybody agrees. And if we will look in 2015, 2016, during speaking up to 2020, we will all agree that it was super easy and simple to launch a product. Everything we had to do is just change a color, slap a label, and launch it asking friends for the reviews. These days it's completely complicated, it's completely different, and it's more complicated than it's been in the past. And I do believe unless you'll read the data, you will not be able to be successful on Amazon. So today let's talk about two things. Number one, let's talk about numbers, how to validate the products. And I will not go through like all 50 something points that we usually do. And we'll talk about different strategies that you can approach when you're choosing products to sell on Amazon. So come on. First, as I said, understanding the metrics and understanding the validation is extremely crucial, because if you don't understand the numbers, you cannot build relationships in between the numbers. You cannot be confident, and you cannot mitigate the risk. So number one, if you guys have just a few software that you have to rely on, if you have just a few numbers you can look at and you don't want to pay a lot of attention to different others, this is Amazon Product Opportunity Explorer. I want you to pay attention here. So number one, you have to look at the overall launches in the past 360, and you have to take a look at the successful launches at the past 360, 90 days, and 180. 360 at 360 as of today. So why those numbers are important and how you're supposed to read them. If you had a lot of sellers that were not successful during this launch, here's an opportunity for you to understand how you can be successful. So now we're able to go through the validation process and see what those sellers did wrong. Because as everybody knows, most of the entrepreneurs are trying to launch copycats, Me Too products, and not really put an effort because they're relying on the previous success, or they just learned something from the YouTube. So our approach here is to find this gap and find out if we can bring our product to this number. Number two is we want to understand if and see if this proportion in between the number of new sellers, new products, not new sellers, new products, and the overall search. So for example, if we have several million searches a year, is proportional. So if it's just 50,000 searches a year and we have 12 new sellers, 12 new listings, 12 new products, it's pretty saturated. But if we have several millions people are searching for the same type of the product, and we don't have enough of listings, then we probably should take a look on this one as well. Then another number I want you to pay attention. If you guys will get confused, drop your question in the Q&A and I will make sure I will cover it. So another thing I want you to pay attention is how many sellers of this specific product are using PPC campaign, and how many of them are selling Prime. So which means, is this product is able to be sold by merchants, so can you use 3PLs to save on your shipments, and will you have to put all your soul in your pocket into the advertisement of this product using Amazon PPC or external traffic? Here is also the way to win. That's number, I would say, one. So moving forward, this one, if you guys never saw this in the past, this is Amazon, this is Walk AI, one of the tools we're using on a daily basis. Here's a lot of numbers. If you hate data, if you don't understand how to read this data, I want you to take a look primarily at demand to supply ratio. In this case, you will be able to, genuinely speaking, get a check mark for yourself. Like if this number is low enough, so for example, 17, 5, 3, that means, and I was looking at just disk organizer, of course, it's pretty vague keyword. However, if demand to supply ratio is pretty low, that means we have an opportunity to launch this product to be successful if we do it correctly. And here there is another number. We can see how many total products are being listed on Amazon with desk organizer, and it's 20,000. Imagine you find out, oh my God, I have 20,000 products that I'm going to compete. I would never launch this product, right? But now we have another number that out of 20,000 products is only 829 of them are actual competitors. So now your number went from 20,000 to 829. So that's next number I want you to pay attention to. And of course, if you have if you're looking at the keywords, desk organizer for, I don't know, lady after 60, or pink desk organizer, or desk organizer for St. Valentine's Day, something like this. Of course, this number will be different, and then you will be approaching specific keyword with the specific supply to demand ratio. So this is something you really have to pay attention to. You can find on my YouTube where I'm explaining, it's a free video. Just go to my YouTube and you will find the video where I'm explaining how you can find the product, and you can look at the revenue in the subcategories with Smart Scout. This is very, I think it's like 8-minute video, but I'm going through the product research where sometimes we're getting stuck which product we want to sell, and we need the starting point how to find the product to sell. And also we want to find out how many sellers are in this niche already selling. So you can go to, for example, one of the subcategories. I went to pots, then I went to canning, then I saw like, oh, leads. Let me see what is going on there. So I can see the total amount of sellers, like 200, total amount of numbers. I can see how many Chinese sellers are out there, and I can see, if I will scroll to the right or to the left, I don't remember, I can see the total amount of revenue this niche is making. So I can also take a look at these numbers, you can watch this video and find out more information there. So now, understanding customer feedback. We also do it with Voc AI. When you are going through your competitors, you have to take a look at the customer's avatar and what your customers are actually looking for. So because the biggest problem, if you're planning to sell something and to bring your product to successful product, considering to Amazon or to yourself, then you have to sell this product the way your customer wants to purchase. And if your customer your product is not appealing to your customer, that means you will have low conversion. That means nobody wants to buy your product at all. So you have to build something that your customer is searching for. And then you have to make sure you're assessing market sustainability. So you have to put together all the data points, and you have to look at the potential profit of your market segment long term. And the metrics matter, as I said, because we have to mitigate the risk and we have to increase our potential to launch. So if you will look to different successful product launches at the niches that are saturated. So for example, bookshelf, right? If you will take a look, this product is making 200,000 with, I believe, 6 variations here, having only 147 reviews. Why? Because this product has been built the way customer wants to launch. And if you will pull Amazon search page, you will find out that this product is being, a lot of these products are really copycats. A lot of these products are Me Too products. And if you are launching the product in a saturated market that is standing out of everybody, and you creating this product that will appeal to your shopper, then it really doesn't matter. You have 0 reviews, or you have 200, or you have 2,000, you will make your revenue, and you will be very well positioned and set up for success. Same goes to this product, right? Would you ever sell a camping chair? No, because we all know it's a pretty saturated product. However, somebody decided to create this product the way how customer wants to purchase. And it is on a higher end cost. However, also with under 100 reviews, they're pushing in a low season, 35 grand a month, because they developed the product the way the customers wants to purchase it. And it's proven point that you guys don't have to chase the product that is not in a saturated market. That means that you have to develop the product your customer wants to purchase. This brand has been forever on the market, but they keep adding different variations to the same product everyone is buying. We all have tumblers. I have one here. Like, we all use different type of the tumblers. They created tumbler, they created set that people are purchasing on a daily basis, which means this product, again, appealing to the customer avatar. So you have to decide which strategy you're going to pick. I'm skipping the review we got from the client because just not the webinar one I want to brag a lot. So now here are several strategies you can go after. First, seasonal products. Sometimes you can create one product that you don't have to shut down like for the next 9 months or for the next 11 months. You can add to this product different type of the variations, and you can grow this product. So for example, this one, guess what? 4th of July, right? So you can create the same throw pillow covers for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for Easter, and like we have plenty of occasions throughout the year, including this green guy. Oh my God, every single time I'm forgetting the St. Patrick Day and etc. Yeah, so we have a lot of them. You can create seasonal products. That's number one. Then you can create subscribe and save. This one is the guy that was learning from me in the past. That's his product pushing millions as of today. So he created, and he was finishing my course, I think in 2020, selling on Amazon variations. Here we go. Launched his product, selling, he started variations of one product, then another product, then another product. Now it's a huge brand that is also being sold in Sprouts, in different retails. Now, high ticket products, that sometimes is very hard to customize because you don't want to go after the mold, but you can look at the suppliers and their saturation of these products on Amazon. Not a lot of people actually selling this weird products like outdoor signs, but when you look at this product, just because there is not a lot of sellers, but there is a lot of buyers, you can make $100 to $150 per sale. So you don't have to have a huge stock of this product. You can have 5 to 6 products like this one, and you can make 5 to 10,000 per product per month. And when you have 10 of them, it's $50,000 a month per product, and it's around $600,000 in profit per year. Is it something you're looking for? This type of the products you have to go after, and this type of the product you have to validate for yourself. Variations, that's another one for the variations when you're going. So for example, like the flag is a clear example. You're creating the product with a lot of different variations based on the size, and I think based on the my God, how you put it, how you install it, and based on the installation, right? Then bundles, that's another strategy when you're going after. Do you want, if for example, you are in supplements or you're selling any type of the toys. So if you're in kids toys category, you are selling toys for kids of like 1 to 3 years old, you can have toy number 1, toy number 2, toy number 3, or you can put all of them together and sell it as a bundle. And if you're advertising it through Amazon brands, right, you can advertise this product. This product will be purchased with PPC. And if you are doing external traffic or influencers, you're working with Levanta or like others, you can increase the sales as well, and you can make so much profit out of this. Multi-packs, right? When you have just 1 or 2 or 3 different products and you're creating multi-packs, you don't have to add more products. You are selling your products this way. And we know some sellers are selling pallets, and one unit can go at like 1,800. So you don't have to make tons of sales. Sometimes you just have to make 10 of them, and you will be at $20,000 revenue. Then complementary products line. So it's when, for example, you have camping gear, you can sell tents, sleeping bags, lanterns, you have pet care, you can sell grooming kits, toys, travel carriers, and etc. So you're combining your brand with complementary products. Giftables, right? So if you're going with giftables, don't forget, we've been testing this product so many times. If you have any type of the product that you can add giftable packaging with what is important, with the bow on top. We tested different type of the bows, and if the bow is on the package, and especially if it's red, people are buying it so much more happier just because of that. They're paying $3-4 more just because of the package. Ultra niche products. Would you ever imagine that pickle lip balm will be selling at about $12,000 a month? I would not. But when I was reading reviews for this product, some people were saying, I'm buying this lip balm just because I like pickles. I'm like, shit, seriously? So you're buying this type of the products? So look at these weird ultra niche products that are appealing to a lot of people. So generally speaking, with these strategies, if you will be able to diversify all of them, you will be able to find the way how you can win your market with your products. It's flexibility because it's allow you to scale and it's allow you to adapt based on your goals and your expertise. It's a lot of profits because you are not chasing down Me Too products or low ticket products. So now when you are going to the lower competition products, another one I wanted to share is Smart Scout. When you're looking at the estimate monthly revenue and you are looking at products that been launched. So for example, I don't know, before 2020 with a lower amount of reviews, and they're not being advertised, they're not spending a lot of budget on PPC, and they are making under $4,000 or $5,000. So you can, and they have buy box as minimum as 29 $30, right? So you can put different filters. This is where you can find out if the product with the very low quality of the listing can be sold on Amazon long term, the product that you don't have to invest a lot of money on the PPC. I hope it does make sense because everything I just said a little bit complicated. So generally speaking, you have to choose the type of the products that you'll be able to dominate in the small niches or the product that are kind of saturated and selling a lot of Me Too products, and you will build a product that will stand out. And you can create another portfolio that will make you like 6-7 figure with your new brand or new product. It depends which route you're taking. So there are a couple simple steps. So first one is you can use very simple filters if you're using Smart Scout. Filter number one, you guys can do the screenshot of this page because this one is useful. So you're putting listing quality score. I put usually below 6. You put launch date. It's really up to you. You can put below 2022, right? You can put number of reviews. I filter by 500. Sometimes I filter by 200. Of course, you have to put the categories, and you can put price and sales velocity. So if you want to look and if you want to stack up a lot of products that are not require a lot of PPC and a lot of attention, then you can put like $3,000-4,000 per month and look at the search that like Smart Scout will filter for you. Oops, come back. So now when you're looking at the lower competition, look at the products that have been launched in the past 180 to 360 days and how many of them been successful with Amazon Product Opportunity Explorer. All this is very replicable strategy, so you can repeat it at any time. Now, if you also want to find small products with low competition, here's a little bit more complicated stuff. Those are chatbots, bots that I built personally on with ChatGPT. You guys can build by yourself. It's not really hard. You're taking data set of Smart Scout, for example. You're uploading this data set into the chat GPT. You don't have to build all this background, and you're asking to filter the products you're searching for. And you're genuinely speaking making this chat, given that ChatGPT released 3.0 recently. It is very well analytical system. It's making it work a little bit longer, but it's analyzing your data pretty well, so you can talk about the product you're choosing with ChatGPT pretty easy and simple without going to any agencies asking to find the product for you, like my agency, for example. So if you want to do it yourself. Now, then you have to, when you find the product, you have to validate the product with, again, as I mentioned, Smart Scout, you are calculating ad spend, and I will get there in a second. With Helium 10, you can check seller saturation. With Data Dive, you have to validate your keywords. With Amazon Product Opportunity Explorer, you have to check the numbers of the competitors. And with Voc AI, you're learning about customers and checking out their supply to demand ratio, something that I was showing in the beginning. So ad spend, here's the slide. When you're looking at the, I hide it here, the keywords, because it's one of our clients. And so this is the spend per keyword. And for example, if you're looking at one of the products that you want, one of the brands that you want to create a fair estimate how much you're planning to spend on ads if you will launch the same product on Amazon, then you can always look at, for example, their advertising with video, and their video ad is winning 3.3% for this keyword and 6.7% for this keyword. This is how much money are they spending for number one spot, for their sponsored products, top group spend, sponsored brand spend, sponsored video spend, and total spend per keyword. You can always download this data from Smart Scout and do the math also with GPT. I do it easily because I hate to do the math in my head. Now with Helium 10, you're looking at the distribution of the sellers. This one is pretty healthy one because we have only 32% overseas sellers and everything else is international sellers across the world. Then you're looking at data dive. So you have to validate the keywords, and this is where your primary saturation you're looking at is competition search volume strength, and you're looking at the keyword strength. So you ideally, if they're not going into red, and this is where you will be kind of estimating your competitors. Here I decided to show you guys $84 median price because it's the price that I like to work with products not lower than $69, because this is everything that is below 69 usually doesn't give you enough of profits. Now with Voc AI, as I was showing you earlier, this is like demand to supply ratio. This is the numbers I want you to look at, and the products that are actually competing. You'll be surprised sometimes you're finding products with a very high search volume. It can be like 200,000 search volume, and you'll be able to see only like 8 or 20 products are competing, and those are super healthy numbers. You just have to validate it correctly. Then if you want to scale to 300,000 with 10 products, you're looking at the smaller products that don't really require perfect listings. And if you need to like stand out, you can go to send out with the listings, and you don't want to spend on the graphics with agencies that are charging $400 to $4,500 in average, myself included. Then you guys can use Canva, that is the plugin inside of ChatGPT, and you can create the products, and you can create the listings, and then click to Canva link inside of GPT and adjust a little bit inside of Canva, but you can create your listing literally inside of GPT for free. So why you have to listen to me? Because we are #1 agency for product research and development, and we got our winning spot, I believe in October or November when it was out there. A lot of you have been voting for us, and thank you for that. Here are just a couple examples of our clients from the past. I didn't want to show something recent, because when somebody is really showing the expertise, I trust people that have been working with somebody in the past to see the examples of like small and big sellers, not just something that happened yesterday. So again, I'm not going to claim that I know everything, but I know at least something. So when with the tools like Smart Scout, Data Dive, Helium 10, Amazon Product Opportunity Explorer, you can eliminate any type of the guesswork, and you can mitigate your risk, and you can increase your potential. And last couple slides I wanted to tell you is, first, you have to identify the market gap, something that we've been going over today. You have to find unmet demand on Amazon using data analysis. And in phase 1, you have to cross-check the data. You have to build relationships in between the data, where do we have supply to demand ratio healthy? Do we have enough of competitors that we can compete with? Is it too saturated? Do we have a lot of Me Too products? Do we have a lot of products that are too different from each other, and we really don't know how to stand out? We have to take a look at the customer avatar. And if, for example, if you have $50,000 budget, and your product choice and the competition strategy is supposed to be different from the seller that has $250,000, right? So you have to always build this strategies based on your budget and based on the products you're planning to sell. Don't forget, when you're building the product, because on the phase 2, you have to always test your product against competitor. So you do it with Pigful. You can simulate the polls with ChatGPT. You can use product opinion, but unless you are testing your product with the split, with the ratio 20:80 or 70:30 on your behalf, you should not launch the product till you will win against competitor, because this is how you will win the market, and you can guarantee yourself that you are better than your competitor before you spend the dime on inventory. And why this two-phase approach works is because first, you're ensuring that data-backed decision, and you're avoiding any risk of the investments, right? Because what we all are afraid is to lose our money. And then you validate the design with your target audience before you move into the production. And as a result, your market is ready to receive your product and to buy it. And when and we help sellers to, like you, right, to avoid a lot of pitfalls where we believe in a higher margin. Like, for example, this one where the gross revenue is 1,600, expenses it's 70, and profit is 753, because the goal is to build the product that is a little bit on the higher end. And I will not play this video right now just for the sake of time, but I was showing here how within a month we built the product up to $100,000 in revenue. Now, yeah, so here's another result of the product that we've been launching also in December. Also was as a case study. We've been showing how the very simple product you can build in a pretty good amount. And that's pretty much it. If you guys are confused out of all the strategies I just shared, because it's a lot of them, and you're like, yeah, this can work, and this can work, and this can work, and this can work, but which one will actually work for me? Here's the link to schedule a call with us. We usually are pretty booked, and we don't want to talk to a lot of people, but we have 4 slots available. So I will share with you guys a link. And I cannot share with everyone, but I believe Mark can. So here's the link to schedule a call with Ritz Momentum, and you're more than welcome to do so. And I think I am done. If it's been useful, just let me know. If it was total trash, also I would appreciate the criticism.
I think it was very good. I really appreciate it. I mean, I think like all those insights are, I think nowadays, like in the beginning, you know, like when you said, you know, back in the day, it was very easy. You know, you throw up a product and just watch it go. And you know, you can go off and do your horse riding and come back and see a whole bunch of sales. Where nowadays, you know, I think, you know, doing all these strategies that we're talking about, you know, makes such a big difference in your business. And at the end of the day, we're in this because it's a business. It's now become a real business, and we need to treat it like a real business. So, yeah, I thought it was really good. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, have a good
I think,
everyone.
yeah, appreciate it. I think Chelsea, you're next. Was it Chelsea? No, Jay. Sorry, Jay, you're next.
Okay, thank you, Mark, and thank you, Isabella. That was a great, great informative presentation. And the one of my big takeaways is pickle balm. That was not on my radar screen, but now that I know that's a trending area, orange juice is going down,
Actually,
pickle
not
balm is going
trendy.
up.
I found out that's been a while.
That's right. And this is what I would call right brain thinking, as Mark called it, right brain thinking, noticing trends like that. But now that we've had that exciting discussion, I'm going to go back to a slightly more boring topic along the lines of what Mark talked about, and the more you know, day-to-day things that are critical for profit, because you need both. You need the left brain thinking, and you need the right brain thinking. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so basically, you know, opportunities. We're dealing with an extremely dynamic market. There are a lot of what you would call known unknowns, and of course, there's always black swans, which are unknown unknowns, that things can happen. And this is where opportunities and really unexpected challenges can arise. So, you know, what's coming up on the horizon right now? We've got AI, both Amazon's AI and AI outside of Amazon, hugely disruptive, and it's just a wealth of opportunity and also challenges for us in the space. We've got video advertising. That is also a you know, area, very user-generated content, Prime Video advertising, new products, categories, and brands, of course, that we're talking about. This is all the kind of right brain opportunity that is really, I apologize, I've got something messed up. These are all right brain activities, but what we're trying to do is to, I'm sorry, I've got my own operational issue here that is messed up. But can you still see my screen?
See your screen, but it's on opportunities and challenges. If you've been changing slides, it's not changing.
Okay. And so what we're going to focus on today is around kind of doing the core day-to-day things that are really critical for your business. So we like to think of a business as a profit factory. You have sourcing, you've got buying things, you've got launching, you've got SEO, you've got all the inventory management complexity, you've got Amazon fees, you've got selling and watching your things, you've got managing your listings, and you've got, of course, returns. All of these things are really the bread and butter, the blocking and tackling of your business. And it's really, our view is that it's really critical to master these day-to-day activities. These are sort of left brain activities in order to free up your time, which is really your most precious resource as an entrepreneur and business owner, in order to allow yourself the kind of space, if you will, to look at the bigger opportunities and deal with the unexpected threats for your business. And so for us, it's really critical that you continuously have monitoring of all of the things that are going on in your profit factory, whether it's listings, reviews, looking at your inventory levels, looking at your profitabilities per SKU and what is driving those profitabilities, looking for changes that are unexpected. All of a sudden, you can have these are all little things, your weight could change. Amazon could re-weight you or reclassify your inventory. You could have spikes in returns. You can have, unexpected changes in your buy box ownership because of listing suppression. You can have changes in fees and so forth and so on. And these are things which are really critical to monitor. It's easy to forget about these things, but they really are critical for driving your and protecting your long-term profitability on Amazon. And so what we like to advocate for sellers is that you have a monitoring system in place to look at all of these kind of boring but critical aspects of your business, of things that can go wrong. And then to have a system in place where you can alert when something appears to go wrong, an exception reporting system that you can then dig down, find out whether this is really a problem or not, and then to actually take action to solve it. And the sooner you can do that, the sooner you can protect your profits, and the sooner that you can also, take out the drama from these types of unexpected changes and deal with them as a critical operational part of your business. That is really critical for protecting your long-term profits. So by having a good operational analytics system in place, you can improve your decision-making of daily business operations. And our desire is to distill these kind of actionable insights from your profit factory so that you can protect your profits and find out where the profit killers are and nail them as quickly as possible. So think about some of the things that can happen with your business. You can have, you can have IP issues that threaten your brand. You can have hijackers. There are a lot of things that can happen on Amazon that can put you at risk for suspension. And it's really critical that you find these things quickly and not just find them and deal with them, but also have a mature system in place so that you can address them without it tying up excessively your time and attention as a business owner. So here's an example of an alerts page where you can observe different types of alerts and then also triage those alerts and determine which ones require a maximum amount of time. And so we advocate very strongly that you have a system in place for monitoring all the key elements of your profit factory, triaging your alerts, and then having a system in place for then acting on those that are most critical, most urgent for that are harming the profitability. If you think about in fourth quarter, if something happens and the surfaceability of your product on SERP pages is threatened because of a small error, maybe there's an issue with your title, maybe there's an issue with some issue with buy box suppression or search engine suppression. All of these things can have huge impact on your bottom line. And unless you have a system in place to deal with them, that it does not take up too much of your time to manage, you're leaving money on the table. Returns are huge. As we all know, there are new fees in place. If you're doing FBM, Amazon is putting new fees in place, but also it's often said that returns are a silent profit killer. And it's something that Amazon is beginning to focus more on. And we feel like this is an area that's really critical to maintain constant monitoring over to see if there are any changes in returns and to monitor that intensively. And then also we have a wonderful returns report that will allow you to look at the returns by reason and look for trends in returns, and also look at the how is it being returned? Is it unopened? Is it something that can be restocked? Do you have to bring it back in? Can you let Amazon resell it or not? Those are all things to monitor, and then obviously digging down deeper to find out the reason for a change in returns. Is it something that can be changed by having a better description, better title, maybe better packaging? All of these things require insights in managing your returns. This is an example of a returns report where you can look by SKU and you can sort and rank SKUs based on what's happening with your returns. You can also look for cases where the returns are going up or down. If we give you a 90-day look back on returns, if there's trend lines on returns or if there's a spike, any number of reasons can cause that, but it could be because of a supply chain issue, for example, and we help you identify that as quickly as possible. SKU economics data. This is, of course, where you monitor your profits. We're not talking about a lot of the deep nuance of the type of analytics that somebody like Mark would do, but we're talking about looking at big trends of what's going on with your profitability, what kind of anomalies are happening, what SKUs are driving the most profits and less, and basically we can and do to kind of tease out trend lines in your profitability by looking at all of the constituent parts which drive the profits of your SKUs. And again, by doing this on a regular, methodical basis, by having a real operating system in place that keeps a monitoring eye on your profitability is really critical for being able to jump on issues when they arise. And sometimes, if you let something slide, a month later you find it, it's a lot better if you find it in week 1 instead of in week 6. So here are some of the things that we look at in our SKU economics report. We look at proceeds, we look at returns. We can look at ad spend and spikes on that. Of course, we can look at changes in FBA fees as well. Those are just some common things that we believe should be monitored on a regular basis. So bottom line is, in order to, free up kind of this right brain thinking, this creative thinking that can allow you to grow on Amazon, to look for new opportunities, it's really critical that you nail the standard everyday, seemingly boring things, but which can drive, can be huge for your long-term profitability. And you need, we strongly suggest it's not just the software tool, although that's important. It's also putting in place systems so that you can maturely manage these things as a business. A system will certainly help with that, but it's insufficient unless you have the habits in place within your business to monitor what's going on with your profit factory and taking steps. So very simple, but that's the key of our message, and happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Jay. That was awesome. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, like, we gotta have you gotta have the data to make the decisions. If you don't, you just kind of flying blind. So
Totally.
awesome. Thank you.
And you can have the data and not do anything with it because you're so bogged down in other things, and that's equally as bad. So
Yeah, it's I'm like you have been doing this for a while, and like over the years, I definitely hear the conversation change where, a couple years ago it was like, none of this stuff matters, margins are great, margins are amazing, everything's great. And then I would say in the last probably 8 months, probably a little bit more, like the question has pivoted a little bit to be, okay, what do I do? Where's the data? How do I look at it? And how do I make a change for my profitability to get better? So, I think, I think as e-commerce grows, I think the more savvy you are, and that you upturn and make a little, pivot to profit centric, I think is going to make a big difference. But anyway, thank you. That was awesome. I think Chelsea, you're up.
Yes, awesome. Thank you. Love the conversations that have been happening so far. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Those are kind of right in line with what I'm going to be sharing. So really glad to be teed up to my presentation. So let me go
Chelsea.
ahead and I'll share my screen. All right, so I'm going to be talking about the components of scalability, and really we talk a lot about scale. People want to scale their business, they want to see growth, but there's not a lot of talk about how to actually get there. What are those components that make up that path to growth? So I'm going to talk about that, really focused on actionable things that you can apply to your business. So talk about the theory, but also what are the next steps that you can do to be able to move closer to your goal of scaling up your business. We did do a little bit of an introduction, but I know some people have jumped on the presentation since then. So I started selling on Amazon in 2014 and co-founded So Stocked, and it was acquired by Carbon6 in 2022. So I've been working with a lot of sellers in the inventory space, and more importantly in the profitability space, because inventory ties so deeply into profitability and into cash flow and into being able to properly manage those expenses. One of these very few people in the industry who devours fee policy. I understand a lot about fee policy. How do the ins and outs work? And being able to understand that, you're able to then reduce fees or avoid fees, which are very important to your profits. So the secret to scale and the actual components of scale are profit and cash flow. Just as with sales, the components of sales are traffic and conversions, the components of scale are profit and cash flow. So we're going to talk about that. How do you approach your business to get more profit? And then also, how do you strategically structure your business to get more cash flow out of it so that you can scale and can look at things differently to be able to self-fund product launches, not have to rely so much on funding from other outside sources like funding companies. All right, so first and foremost, with profit, you need to really look to your unit economics, and those are things that both Jay and Mark spoke to, is the different components that go into unit economics. And what unit economics is really is looking at, in order to sell that product, what are all the costs involved in getting a single product to your customer, right? From sourcing and paying your supplier, to the costs along the supply chain, to the Amazon fees, to the return rates. All of those things tie in together to make up your unit economics. A lot of sellers start with the basic costs, and they'll look at the cost when they first launch a product. Maybe they'll assess it every year, but a lot of it is an estimate, especially when it comes to certain aspects. And the aspects that tend to be estimates are shipping, storage, and advertising. I'm not going to go into much detail on advertising. That's not the area that I play in as much. Storage and shipping and the inventory side of things is really where I tend to live and be on a daily basis. So in terms of what can you do to reduce your shipping costs, there's shipping costs to get your product to Amazon, and then there's shipping costs to get it from Amazon into the hands of your customer. And we all know this. It's one of our favorite fees. It's the Amazon FBA fulfillment fee. So in order to adjust that fee and to reduce your costs, you can do what's called resizing, and resizing can have a huge impact on your business. This is an example of someone who dramatically resized their product. There are ways to resize your product not so dramatically, and I'll talk about some tools that we have, some free tools that we have to be able to help with that. But there's a huge impact that can be made. This is a product. It's actually a piece of jewelry. It's a brooch, a little pin, and it was packaged as a giftable, but and that probably marginally helped with the selling of the product, but the seller didn't see a huge impact, right? So what this seller did was to be able to, as you can see, significantly reduce the size. It was in the large standard range, and then it went to small standard, and that was a 62-cent difference in the profit that was made on every single unit. So back to unit economics, that can have a huge impact on what your profitability looks like, the cash that you're retaining every time you sell a product. So the ability to scale then ties into your ability to improve profit. More profit means more money in your pocket, means more money to be able to launch new products and truly scale. And this across the catalog ended up saving $52,000 per year. And like I mentioned, in terms of the resizing, we have some tools. I didn't throw up a slide, but we have some tools, and I have a link at the end that will allow you to look for opportunities like this, more specifically around your actual packaging itself, because some people might not have a product they're able to make such a dramatic resizing for. This is something that's not necessarily as common, but one thing that is common, we've seen a lot. We've seen where a product packaging can actually be reduced. We have a tool called the FBA fee reduction tool, fee resizer tool, where you can plug in your calculations for what your product is, and then we'll scan your catalog, and we can see which of those products actually have the ability to get into a lower fee tier. Sometimes it's 1/4 of an inch on any one side. Amazon changed their fee structure, so they added additional. Some additional fee tiers, so that products that used to not have an opportunity to resize then became eligible for resizing. So it brought up a lot of opportunities. If you haven't done an assessment since the beginning of your product or in the last year or so, it's a good idea to take a look at it, because we have found tens of thousands of dollars within the catalogs of the clients that we've run these resizers for, to be able to resize and get back some of that, some of those unit costs. So that is on the FBA fulfillment fee side. That also influences really anything in that realm. So things like the low inventory fee is going to be impacted by resizing your product. If you're doing any removals or disposals, which I don't necessarily recommend because they're very expensive, but those are going to be influenced by that. Really anything that involves size tiers or dimensional weight. Then the other thing that you want to look at is storage fees. The one of the terms that Jay used was silent profit killers. It's one of I think the favorite terms of anyone who talks about storage fees, because these things are those things that people don't necessarily factor in. They look at their cost, their supplier costs, they look at their shipping costs, and then of course all of the Amazon fees that that are normally looked at, fulfillment costs and the referral fees. But the longer that you keep a product in the warehouse, obviously you're collecting fees. So what you want to do is have a strategy to keep an eye on that, because we have these aged inventory fees, and we've seen even 9-figure sellers come in and not realize how much money they have at risk of losing because of these fees. So you'll have someone come in and not realize that they're currently being charged, real life scenario, currently being charged $45,000 a month in aged inventory fees alone. And that's a month. That means that in previous months, they've been charged as well. So they are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and haven't devised a strong enough plan to actually move through that inventory. So inside of our software, that's one of the things that we do. And one of the things we champion is the ability to forecast and predict the problems before they arise, to have a plan, to have the inventory team point out to the marketing team, hey, here are some of the ASINs that are actually going to cost you a lot of money if you don't do anything about it. So what I did here, and you're probably wondering what this spreadsheet is, there is a way to gain some access to this data. We pull it into SoStocked automatically, and we use our forecasting to project out up to a year in advance. What are those risks that you have? How much are you going to spend in monthly storage fees and in aged inventory fees throughout the life of your inventory with the current forecast? You're selling 30 units a day, you have 8,000 units. How much is that going to cost you if you don't aggressively change your marketing strategy with those products? So that's data that we pull into SoStocked, into our inventory software, and we're doing more with profit projections and being able to see what's your profit tomorrow, what's your profit in the next 6 months, not just your profit today, because that's the shift that has to be adopted, especially if you tend to have a lot of inventory sitting at Amazon. So you can go to get some of this data. This is not going to be data where they do projections for you into the next year, but it will be, what is your current status of all of your inventory? You'll have every single ASIN, and it'll show you the age of the inventory. So you can see that it's called the FBA inventory report. It's my favorite report. I've been teased about having a favorite report, but this is my favorite report. It has a ton of data. You'll be able to see which of those products are at risk or are currently incurring fees. And for example, this column here, 240 days of in stock, that is a problem area. You're already being charged, but you're on the precipice of being hit with a huge fee, because Amazon starts charging at basically 6 months, and then at 9 months there's a huge hike in fees. So at 8 months you're paying $1.50 per cubic foot, because it increases at every 30 days, but at 9 months you hike up to $5.45 per cubic foot. So in this scenario, we're looking at paying $47 this month, and then that jumps up to $170 next month. So it's over 3 times. So being able to have a plan send this to your marketing team, having them actively participate in trying to avoid these fees, rather than having them back of mind, knowing that you've got those products, but they're not the ones driving revenue, so you don't pay attention to them. You could be driving a lot of revenue on one side, and then it's going out the door on this other side. So it's important to have that plan. And I'm going a little bit fast. I know that Danan has his presentation, so I want to be kind of mindful of time. If you have questions, I'll give you my contact page at the end as well. Hopefully I remember, so just remind me if I don't. The second part is the cash conversion cycle. This is the best thing to pay attention to when you're trying to improve your cash flow. This is the number one metric. You might see this as CCC, that's cash conversion cycle, and that is what it best represents your cash flow. So what you're looking at is how much inventory are you holding? How quickly is Amazon paying you? You can't change how often Amazon pays you. And then most importantly, how quickly are you turning over that money, really? And I'll tell you, there's a couple of different ways that you can control that. Holding less inventory is one of them, but that isn't necessarily always a good solution for people. The better way is actually to, I'll discuss kind of the restructuring of your business. But this is just to show you, if I turn over my inventory every 2 months versus every 3 months, I'm going to have a huge advantage in terms of scalability. So you can see here a demonstration of turning my inventory over every 3 months and being able to multiply those results. It's a very simple example, but it kind of can emphasize the difference in what you have at the end of the year, that $81 versus over $700, because you're turning that money over so much more quickly. The scalability really comes with how quickly can I turn my cash, and what is the focus to be able to do that, right? Obviously, you have to be able to launch more products and things like that, but that is one of the big levers that you can pull in cash flow. And so here is an example. This is just a shifting of your payment terms, being able to negotiate payment terms, and then this will all show you a strategy that'll ensure that you can turn over you can control your cash flow much better, and at the same time not be at risk of running out of stock. So you've got on this side something that's fairly standard, which is you pay 30% upfront, 70% upon shipping, and or even upon inventory arriving. So here's a scenario: $15,000, and this is what your cash flow will look like if you're doing that. Here's the first product, and then you launch a new product, and you can see that we already are going into the red on this. So we might have to borrow money, we might have to delay a product launch, and at the end of the day, we have very low cash flow. Not a good place to be sitting, not a good, the risk is much higher. And then this other strategy actually involves paying the 30% upfront and then staggering your shipments and staggering the payments that are going out. So you have your product going out, and you're actually going to be paying in installments. And this is something that you can negotiate with your supplier. A lot of people have done this, and then I'll outline a little bit of how that structure looks when you're going to start that conversation with your supplier. And then you can see here's another product launch. We're less at risk of running out of cash. And at the end of the day, you have about double what you have on the other strategy in terms of cash on hand. So this is the strategy to implement. Essentially, you want to keep 2 to 3 months in stock. It's a good rule of thumb. Really depends on how reliable your supply chain is. Supply chain tends to be more consistent when you switch to the strategy that's listed here. So 2 to 3 months worth of stock, and then have some stock in a 3PL, have about a month of safety stock at least, in would usually say a local 3PL. So some people use AWD, some people use third party or have their own warehouse, but have at least a month. This is to protect against any emergencies that might happen. And then some people like to keep more than a month. And then at your supplier, what you're going to do is you're going to negotiate with them to produce, let's say, 3 months of stock in advance. You pay 30% for that 3 months of stock, and then you have them send drip feed once a month. This is how you get to those payment terms that we talked about before. 30% down, and then 70% a month on just the inventory that ships. So you're paying for that 700 units that you're shipping for that to cover that month. And then the next month you're paying 700, and the next month, and you're reordering every 2 to 3 months as well. So that you can actually control the flow of money, but you are protecting yourself in that you've still got that inventory there that can ship early, that can ship late, depending on the flexibility of your sales. And then the last piece is obviously the supplier is going to be holding your inventory, so you're avoiding paying additional 3PL fees stateside, but then you're also have the potential to have them hold that stock for up to 3 months without charging you any storage. And I've heard, many suppliers through many different sellers have had this happen. This is not an uncommon thing to work out with your supplier. It actually helps their cash flow as well to be paying, to be receiving regular amounts of inventory. So this is a great strategy for being able to improve cash flow. And then finally, and just to wrap up real quickly, this is where profit and cash flow collide, is being able to look at your low selling products and to be able to start eliminating that. Where unit economics comes in, you see, what is my bottom line of profit margin? Maybe I don't want to sell anything less than 10% profit margin. You can see the graph here. This is an idea of, let's look at my business. Okay, I want to launch new products, but my cash is tied up in low margin products. What if I tried to launch new products when I had a bunch of low margin products that I'm shelling out cash for? Well, I get to the point of being at risk of running out of stock, running out of money, but I see the upside potential. So I could borrow money from a company, funding company, but in order to self-fund your products, you might want to reconsider not restocking those low margin products, which first requires you to identify them with your unit economics and your profitability. If you can't increase the profit margin, which would be the best approach first and foremost, then getting rid of those low margin products and taking that same capital, investing it in the new product launches, you can reach your goal. And at the same time, you are not at risk of running out of that money. All right, we have a fees white paper. This is something that you guys can access. This is something we write every year. It explains the fees, but I've also gone in and done more detail in unit economics, the levers to pull for unit economics. What are several different things that you can do to improve those, cash flow, and then the capital utilization. So all of these concepts are, I dive into that in depth and actually give you action steps to be able to implement. And then lastly, we do a profit audit. This is free. We look at your entire catalog. We find opportunities for fulfillment fee reduction, like I talked about before, overstock and aged inventory risk. So those projections and being able to see the next 8 to 12 months, what are my risks, so that I can take action before I get charged $45,000, for the aged inventory fees. And then stock out revenue impact. What are those things those times where you stocked out, and what is your likelihood of stocking out again based on certain metrics? So we'll run your entire catalog. Go to carbon6.io /so stocked. And you'll see, get my free audit button. Just click that and you can sign up for an audit. All right, and that is it. I know Danan's up next. I wanted to try to wrap up quickly.
Awesome, thank you. That was awesome. I mean, it's just amazing, all the things that you just got to do to have a good, profitable business nowadays. So awesome, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, last but not least, Danan, you're up.
Cool. So considering I've got 4 minutes left, 4 minutes left, I'm going to blast through this because I do have a hard stop. So I'll start off by saying that anyone that wants to talk to me about review removal, I can do an audit for you. And I gave Mark my link to schedule. So I'm going to share a little bit on, I haven't got a whole lot of time to go over, but there's a few things you guys need to know. Let's forget about my experience. Just getting rid of some stuff here. Let's see, present. Okay, is everyone still seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. All right, good. So let's go into some stats you need to know. So a single 1-star review can cancel out as many as 10 to 15 5-star reviews. That it's actually 7 to 20 or 5 to 20, but it cancels out a lot. The weight ratio is bass backwards, if you ask me. So if you go from a 4.3 to a 4.2 star, this can reduce your sales as much as 50%. This is not a hard rule, but I've seen it enough to where it's pretty much 25 to 50% is what you're going to lose just because you lose that half star. So that's a 4.3 to a 4.2. And then Amazon's not really policing reviews that well. I think we all know that as Amazon sellers. There are constantly reviews that are there that you're like, what is this? This is not even my product, or this doesn't make sense, or whatever, right? And so occasionally we get these emails from Amazon saying, hey, we removed a product review from bad actors. I've never once seen this be a critical review, meaning a written one, a 1, 2, or 3 star. I've only ever seen this be 4 and 5s. So thanks, Amazon. So, and granted, you know, we have a lot to be thankful that Amazon is there to for us and as a place to make sales and money and stuff like that. But you know, there's a lot of things that need improvement. So here's a couple of reviews. So on the left is a shipping issue. That is one of the most common reviews that we get removed because it's not your fault. You had nothing to do with that. And this is supposed to be a product review, right? The other one has swear language in it. Here is a real seller account, a buyer account, that they leave the same review on every single product that they purchase. They're all verified purchases, but you see that there are 3 beauty items, 2 baby items, 1, 2, 3, 4 cups, right? And so they're going after competitors. This person is being hired to leave negative reviews on a competitor. I see this a lot more often than you would think, a lot more often than I would ever think. Anyhow, so removing a single star review is like acquiring as many as 15 written 5-star reviews. Again, it's more like 7 to 20, but basically removing a negative review has much more impact than acquiring a single 5-star review. So if you go from a 4.2 to 4.3, you are going to increase sales. So if you are generally going up in the ratings, this is some of what I say is sort of my own, what I think is happening because Amazon doesn't actually give you the data. But if you are able to increase your rating and you are, which would technically mean you are increasing your conversion rate, which hopefully means you're getting more sessions, which could possibly create lower PPC cost, leading to higher sales. And to keep with the theme here, you would, of course, be making more profit. So how do you do this? How do you get rid of reviews? To those of us that are selling on Amazon, we think that, hey, Amazon's got a report review button. And I've never, not a single time out of, I don't even know how many reviews, I've never seen that work. I think that Amazon is aggregating that data and then maybe they do something about it once or twice a year, because I see that Amazon batch removes reviews. It's primarily from date ranges. So report review button, send an email to community help. Do they even answer you? Sometimes. Most of the time, they're just going to tell you, thanks very much. We're not going to tell you what happens. Or you email Jeff Bezos. That doesn't really work anymore. So this is how I run through this. And this is the last slide I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to give you a few tips. So I run an ASIN audit. Anybody here can get an audit on their ASINs for free from me, and we'll just go over how many negative reviews you have, how many I think I remove. I download your reviews, run it through an AI, find the ones that are in non-compliant with Amazon's community guidelines in terms of service. I compile a strategy, and then I file cases for each review that has that's in violation, and then I have a whole bunch of follow-up. So I'm going to stop sharing at this point. Here's a few things that you need to know. Number one, do use the report button. I think it's worth doing it, even though I've never seen it happen, like result in anything. I think you should use it. Number two is do use community help. Community-help@amazon.com is the email that you go to report reviews. But this is how you do it. You need the ASIN, the buyer name and their link, the title, the body, and you need to keep it super simple. What's the violation and what do you suggest? You need to tell Amazon, this is what I want you to do, which is to delete that review, right? Then there's a form in brand registry, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what the tree is, but if you go into all the forms that you can submit to Amazon, there's one to submit negative reviews. And you will find that they'll never respond to you. At least they've never responded to me. And every case is transferred. And believe me, I have tried like hell to find out where those cases go. I don't know. But that's pretty much what I've got right now. Anyone that wants to get a hold of me, just ecomtriage.com. Mark, I think, has my link there that he put up.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's normally I'd spend a little bit more time giving you guys what to look for in reviews, but your reference is going to be community guidelines, Amazon community guidelines, which you can just Google that. And there's a section called what's not allowed. That's the first place that you should go to then look at that data and compare it to what is written in this review. And do you think it's in violation? And then just take those steps. And then follow up. That's actually the biggest thing. Like Ecom Triage, the review removal side of things, it's basically I've capitalized on being good and at an administrative headache.
Very true. I mean, it's one of those things that probably just aren't done, right? Left brain stuff, just put to the side, but it's one of those things that just actually have to be done.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate. Like I will be happy the day that I no longer have to provide this as a service. I'm going to be happy about that because I'm a seller too. And there's just so many reviews that clearly don't belong there. And Amazon's got all the data. Like they could take action on this.
Yeah.
And the day that they do, I'll be very, very happy because we will all benefit from it.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be an amazing day.
Yeah. If the day comes.
Probably not.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I'll give anyone additional data if you schedule with me. It's a 30-minute meeting, but you can also reach out to me, Danan@ecomtriage.com. I'm pretty easy to work with. You tell me what you need help with, I'll help you.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend getting hold of getting at least the free ASIN report audit just to double check because it's why not?
Yeah,
it's one of those why not things. Why aren't we doing these things?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, cool. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. We have gone way over time here. I really appreciate everyone's time. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. Again, these are all amazing things that we can do. They're even better, actually, if you implement everything that you've kind of gone over here. Granted, there are a lot of things to do, which is why, if something resonates with you, I highly recommend reaching out, having a conversation, because which each one of us can, alleviate some of the stresses in your business. I think it's just something that will help you grow and profit more. So I really appreciate everyone. I'm gonna skip all the Q&A here because we've been over a little bit, but I really appreciate everyone coming. So thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you. Bye.